Hey guys, Tiffany here. Today I want to show you some of the things I do to manage all of my aquariums that are in 3 different rooms. Would it be easier if I had one fish room and everybody in one room? Sure it would. But I don't have that, so I have like plugs and things and stuff. So I need to put the bird somewhere else is what I need to do. Just one moment. So this is my really nerdy way of keeping track of when I cleaned my tanks. When I first started getting, I don't know, maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 tanks, I would just write on the tanks with dry erase markers. But I really need to be able to see all of my tanks or a representation of my tanks in one place. So I took it's kind of a cardstock or just a thick piece of paper, and I drew really neat representations of some of my tanks and laid a piece of tracing paper over it and kind of wrote at the time what was in the tanks. Now, some of them were plans for the future. And then some things got just penciled in, and these 2 small tanks ended up representing 5 small tanks instead of just 2 in the kitchen. And yeah, that doesn't have white clouds in it anymore. That has my little betta boy in it. Anyway, so, and then there's some scribble, and that's the tubs on the floor, and anyway. So I should really rewrite this, but anyway, it works. So we put it in a sheet protector, and we write on the sheet protector with a dry erase marker. And let me put this back in here. And that's how I keep track of what tanks have been cleaned out, because right now I have 20-ish. Inside the house, if you count the tubs that have fish in them, I have 20-ish tanks. So I know this doesn't look real pretty and it's probably confusing, but so I write the date that I cleaned out the tanks, and sometimes when I'm just thinking about what I need to clean out next time, I'll draw an X, or sometimes I'll just circle it. So I just did these tanks in front of me, which are the 50 and the 40. These are my newest tanks. They don't have a background yet. They don't have a timer for the lights, but speaking of timers for lights, I have seen some folks with some smart outlets, and I was looking up smart outlets, and then I realized, hey, I can get a smart power strip, because each one of my tanks, for the most part, I have these metal stands that have 2 tanks stacked like this. So I have 2 lights. So I don't need just one smart outlet. I would need 2 smart outlets, or whatever they're called. So I decided to get a smart power strip, or what do they call this? Yep, that's what they call it. So I got a bunch of these smart power strips off of Amazon, and I'm going to start switching them out, because this particular set of tanks does not have a timer on the lights. I've just been turning them on and off each day. But most of my tanks have a timer, and then also a power strip. So if you can see on this one, this line of plugs are always on, and then this line are smart outlets. So I really only need 2 of these, but I also had to think about, well, what are my lights? What does the power supply to my lights look like? So I don't know, one of these lights is gonna go off when I pull this out. But, so I had to think about, what does this look like? Even though I only need 2 of these are really long plugs, so that way I can put 2 in. So that's the plan. And then the heaters are gonna go in the always on, and also things like air pumps are going to go in the either always on, or there's another plug. I mean, each wall outlet has actually 2 places you can plug things in. So the power strip is going to go into one, and if I needed to, I could plug the air pump into the bottom one on the actual, in the wall, or I could plug it in here. So we're going to see how this goes. My very first stack of tanks that I added, this is a 29 gallon at the top and a 20 long. So these are nanofish, and my female betta is in here. These are actually the next tanks that need to be cleaned out according to my handy dandy little chart downstairs. And these are my rainbow fish that are growing out. Juveniles, subadults. The largest ones are probably about 1.25 inches, give or take, roughly. Anyway, but what I really want to show you is this timer. So I have these timers that have 2 plugs on them. So I can plug in 2 lights. Why does that look different? For some reason, they changed the plug on the way the lights have. Anyway, that's fine. So there's a timer. I have the lights on once in the morning for a couple hours, and then in the evening for a couple of hours. And there's a nice little switch on the top that I can override the timer. Oops, darkness. Which is real nice because sometimes you need that. And so I am going to, here is my, basically the heaters are here. There's an air pump that runs the sponge filters. And then this particular, this is the only place in the house, or only aquariums that I have hang-on back filters. So these plugs are the 2 hang-on backs, 1 air pump, 2 heaters. That's what's here. So by plugging in this smart power strip that I showed you a few minutes ago, I'm going to get rid of, instead of having a timer and this power strip, I'm just going to have the smart power strip. So I'm going to have about 3 of these double timers where you can plug in 2 different electrical appliances, or in our case, lights, to aquariums, that I am going to give away because I'm not going to need them anymore. They work fine. They are used, obviously, but they work fine, and they've served me really well. I keep adding one here and there whenever I add another stack of tanks, but I'm upping my game, and these smart power strips are going to be way cool. So I'm going to be giving away, I'm going to have a random drawing from the comments of this video to give away these timers. So what I need you to do, if you would like to win a timer, if you maybe have separate tanks in different places, or for whatever reason have use for a timer like this, I just need you to leave a comment. You can write whatever, but if you're interested in the timer, I just need you to put #timer. #timer if you're interested in that. And if you have comments about the video, if you have suggestions for future videos, that'd be great too. So also don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. I sure appreciate it. If you like this type of content and you want to see more, by all means, like and subscribe, and I will show you my timer I'm setting up in all these different rooms in just a few minutes. Well, it might be a few hours to set all these up. I'm not sure. But yeah, we're going to set up probably about 4 or 5 of these power strips. So that's going to be fun. But I am excited. It's going to help with cord management and kind of just keep things a little bit neater, and it's going to be easier. Right now, it's very difficult to coordinate the timers so that, you know, lights come on at the same time or go off at the same time. And some of them stay on another 30 minutes or they come on a little bit earlier. So being able to set them to a specific time is going to be very nice. I do have this air pump, it happens to have a little hole where you can hang it on a nail or on something on the wall. It matters. It acts a little bit different if the if the pump is elevated, like where this is, this elevation compared to the sponge filters matters. If I were to set that on the floor, especially when you have tanks like this that are one's up and one's down, sometimes it can be not equal, the output of the air bubbles. And some of these I don't know if this one, oh, this has two separate, but still. And I have a check valve on this from when I used to have that on the floor. But I'll show you what this looks like and what some of the other tanks look like once I have the smart power strips installed. Just a quick note, I do use the Python fill and drain kit downstairs for the larger tanks. The tanks that are just 9 or 10 gallons, I typically just use a bucket. But downstairs, most of the tanks are larger, and I do use the fill and drain kit. Had to actually change out the faucet in this bathroom because it did not have a removable aerator thing, so I couldn't take the end off to connect the fill and drain kit. So that was years ago. Upstairs, I typically use buckets because I have not replaced the faucets. I haven't changed out any of the faucets up there, and I cannot attach the fill and drain kit. But really the main reason is because I have nano fish, I have baby fish up there. In theory, I have 6 tanks, and some of them are pairs of angels that in theory are going to be breeding, and there's going to be baby angels, which sometimes there are like little angelfish fry. Not as much right now, but so I use the buckets upstairs and the Python downstairs. And I just think the buckets are annoying. I don't really like them, but it is really nice when you have baby fish to be able to check the buckets for baby fish before you dump the bucket out. And it's kind of a good workout, even though it's annoying. But that's kind of how I feel about it. So, okay, we have the new, I know you can't really see it, but we have the new power strips that are smart power strips already kind of set up, and you can tell that these can kind of be pushed back behind this tank. And yeah, I don't have a background on it, but if I had a background on it, you couldn't really see all the wires. So that brings me to another just note, is to when you set up your tanks, I know you probably don't want them to be really far from the wall, but you also don't want them to be too close to the wall, because like for instance, this tank is, well, this is my 60-gallon cube, and the lights are probably not good. So they think I'm gonna feed them. But this is my 60-gallon with my blue marble angelfish and my dark blue Pinoy angelfish that are actually for sale on the website. I am on getgills.com as Sparky's Tropicals, or you could go to sparkystropicals.com and buy some of my guppies or angelfish. I have some longfin white clouds. And we'll probably have some other fish on there soon. But this tank is my main tank that has been set up for 7 years. And the person that set it up for me did a great job. But if I had it to do over again or next time, you can kind of, let me turn the light back on. You can kind of see this. I only have about 1 fist distance, maybe just a tad bit more. But it is difficult to put this power strip back there. So this is my stack of tanks in the living room that is a 50 and a 40 much like in the other room that we saw earlier. And I have not put the new Smart Power Strip in here, but wanted to show you what I have so far in here is a really strong magnet. Well, I can't get this off. There we go. A power strip with a really strong magnet, and this has two USB ports, and I don't know, like 6 electrical outlets. So like things like this can be really helpful too. Oops, and that is a super strong magnet. Or to maybe put some magnets on them and put them on my metal stands so they don't have to sit on the floor. I don't know, we'll find out. Well, I mean, there's always more projects to do and more ideas and things to explore, so. But I just wanted to make a note about that. So I may have forgotten to mention that this Smart Power Strip has an app that goes with it. So you can program the on and off time. You can kind of set up what you want things to do. And I'm kind of an amateur working with it, but I think I have it programmed, and I think that these lights, I just overrode it and turned the lights on anyway, but I'm curious to see in about an hour or so at 6:30 if the the smart outlets are going to turn the lights on to the 2 stacks of tanks that I have set up. So I have 3 more to go, but I have 2 that are set up. So I kind of tried to get these cords managed a little bit better. And you can kind of see I can do this back behind here because I left some room behind this tank on purpose. And there's plenty of space for the hang-on backs and whatever. There's plenty of space for me to hang this air pump back here. And so trying to get things off the floor and or at least like behind the tanks. And so far so good. So that's our project. I still have work to do, but it's going pretty good. And as long as the lights come on at 6:30 and go off at 8:30, I'll be quite happy. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Feel free to leave a comment. And if you have questions, ideas, suggestions for other videos, and the drawing for the 3 timers. Oh, here's the timer. Let's show that. So there's 3 of these that have 2 outlets. So these are what I have pretty much all of my stacks of tanks. This is running the lights. So I have 3 of these timers that I'm not going to need anymore, and I'm going to be giving them away in a random drawing from the comments on this video. So that will happen Monday night, 2 weeks from today, which will be, I should have looked at the calendar. I think that'll be the 13th of September. So 2 weeks to leave a comment, #timer if you're interested in being entered for the drawing for the timer. And if you want to leave comments, that's fine too, if you other than in being entered for the drawing. But I will leave you a message. I'll just comment on your comment. And if you can email me your information to sparkiestropicals@gmail.com if you are one of the 3 winners, and I'll send out your timer. In a way, it's a small thing, but it's super helpful to turn on a couple of light strips. So have a good day, and I'll see you later.